You can now call Soupy Sales a doctor. I guess this happened a while ago, but we just got the press release on it. He has received an honorary doctorate of humane letters from Marshall University in Huntington, West Virginia, and he will be lecturing next weekend at the Bananas Comedy Club in the Elks Hall at 31117 Plymouth between Middlebelt and Merriman, November 23rd at 8 and 10. We'll mention that again a little later.
And I'll be directing and talking, discussing which is duller, Cleveland, Ohio, or Pat Sajak.
Have you ever written a humane letter in your life? What is a doctor of humane letters, anyway?
Well, it's better than, I guess, humane potatoes or tomatoes. No, I'm very flattered because Marshall University, they're 10-0 in football this year.
Really?
Really.
They're following that team,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, follow that team. And my hometown, Huntington, West Virginia, when they gave me that degree, I remember my mother, they asked my mother, they said, what's Soupy going to be when he gets out of college? And she said, about 45 years old. My mother's pretty funny.
Yes.
Probably doing my act in Boston tonight and getting better laughs.
When you came in from New York, when did you get here?
I got here this past Monday, and a couple of guys stopped at the airport and said, you want to share a car into town? I says, okay. I got a steering wheel and 2 tires. They took the stereo. It's a mess. But I like it. It's great.
Is it, so many like us, like the people in this room who grew up in Detroit, and we think it's a big deal. You're probably oblivious to all this anymore.
Oh, no, I'm not oblivious to anything. I think it's wonderful. I love it. I love Detroit. It's been so great. I got my big break here. First they broke my right leg, and they said, if you want to get better, we'll take care of the left leg. In 1953, I came here. And it was really, you remember Biff's Hamburgers?
I sure do.
You remember Corning's out on Woodward? It was a roast beef place.
No, that one I don't remember.
Richard's Drive-In.
I remember Richard's the Twin Burger, the California Twin Burgers.
Twin Burgers, yeah.
I can remember most of your commercials. There was National Food Stores.
National Food Stores. And
there was Bactine.
Bactine and Cocoa Marsh. Cocoa Marsh was headed by John Kluge, who was one of the wealthiest men in the world. And he was the head of Metro Media. When I worked for them, I had lunch with him one day. I said, how did you get into business? He said, well, he had bought some property outside of Bethesda, Maryland, outside of Washington. And one day somebody called up and they said, somebody wants to buy that property. He had bought it for $15,000. He said, how much did you get for it? And the real estate agent said, we got you $1 million. And he fainted. And they thought he had a heart attack when he came to it. He said, what business are those people in? He said, television. He said, I'm going into TV. And he went into TV, John Kluge.
And that's
how Cocoa Marsh, from Cocoa Marsh to television.
Gee whiz. Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom
that I can remember. I bet you don't even remember this one. As the twig is bent, so grows the child, which means don't spank your children, bend them.
Write that down.
You don't.
I like, be true to your teeth and they won't be false to you. Or you can lead a horse to water, but if you want him to drink, I put out a few beer nuts.
Right.
What do you think of that? Or never buy a TV set for a man on the street who's out of breath. How about never pick up a hitchhiker wearing a hospital gown and a cowboy hat?
I've lost my train of thought here. I had a question. Oh, yeah. Sinatra. He's been in the news all week. You were buddies with Sinatra. I remember back in the 60s, the famous scene of the pies.
Yeah.
How is he? What do you know?
Oh, he's fine. He's all right. Frank, Frank won't die. He's not his time yet. He won't go.
I don't want him to go.
No, nobody wants him to go. Everybody say a prayer for Frank because he's such a beautiful guy. I love him. I
got to ask you one more question. Yeah, right. And I would love to get her on the show. I wonder whatever happened. Auntie D, do you ever see her? Remember Starlight Stairway?
Oh, yeah, and Jimmy Stevenson played piano, and Ursula Walker was one of her first big stars that came out of that. She lives in San Francisco.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She's in good shape. Do you ever hear from her?
No, I've talked to her years ago, but I haven't talked to her. That'd be nice. You should get her back.
We should try to find her. Okay, Dr. Sales.
I'm going to be at the Elks Club in Livonia at Bananas Comedy Club. It's for the public, but it's a beautiful place. Out next Saturday night with Marv Welch and Johnny Ginger.
That ought to be fun.
And it's really fun because we worked together quite a few times now. And Marv Welch does the best 20 minutes of any comic that's working today. And Johnny does a half hour and I do an hour.
Wixie Wonderland.
That's what it is.
All right. Hey, good to see you again.
Michael, nice to see you. It's cold out there, folks. You asked me how cold it is.
How cold is it?
Some guy gave me a hot foot a while ago. I kissed him.
Next on Fox 2 Eyewitness Weekend. They say you're only a stranger once at the corner. Coney, Cheap Eats will take you to this friendly eatery when we come back.